because in the future, probably the crypto game can replace the GameFi, because the crypto blockchain technology can be one of the asset management in the game. So people play the game is not only for earn money. They are willing to play the game because they want to have fun. So because it's a Web3 game, it still need the time. Maybe it will take maybe it will take years to get close to the Web2 games, and back to the beginning point from in the player side, that's they need to play games for fun, but maybe at the meantime they can earn some money. Yes, but probably we can listen to the professional investors. Or how about James' point of view on the three games?
Thank you so much, Ray. So over to you, James. What are your thoughts on the main difference between gaming on Web 2.0 and 3.0?
Yeah, thank you, Ray, and thank you, Chris. I think I totally agree with Ray. What's Ray was about asset ownership. Because Web3 entirely is about asset ownership. So whether it's DeFi, GameFi, or NFT or whatever, it's about owning your own asset, right? Instead of giving other people to do custody for you. So that's really the key here. So I mean, we certainly need a lot of kind of DeFi license platform to serve as a bridge, but Web3 eventually is about asset ownership. So about gaming, the difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is about asset ownership. That's definitely true. Speaking of gaming industry specifically, what is the difference between Web 2 and Web 3? I think there are two types of different games in Web 2 space, right? The first is casual game. The second is AAA game, right? The business model is pretty clear. For casual game, you're gonna have a lot of traffic, but people are not willing to pay for it. So you have to run different kind of advertisements from other companies then generate revenue for you, right? For this AAA game, you're spending a lot of money and the time to building it. Then after building it, it get popular, get a lot of traffic, but people are willing to pay payment for that, right? So that's like a two type of different game in the Web 2. But for Web 3, since we have token as an incentive to different game, that could kind of create entirely business new model as play to earn, right? But as Ray said before, just play to earn itself is not definitely sustainable in the long term, right? So basically you are asking people to play the game, but giving them the incentive. But the problem is you're giving them the incentive, who's going to buy the token, right? So that's really the key here. So to solve the problem of this, we need a kind of like a healthy economy or healthy kind of ecosystem that people willing to pay for it, or there's any kind of other people willing to pay for it, right? So there's buy side and sell side. And how could the project generate enough traffic for that, and how could the project design the token merchants which is reasonable and fit that token into the whole game is really the key here. So that's really I think Web3 just giving you a protocol that you can entirely tell your user that, okay, this is safe and you can own your asset. This is the benefit here, right? But more important right now, the more detailed problem to solve is how could the business model be more sustainable in the Web3 world. So that's really the key question for the entire GameFi industry to solve right now. Once this is found, I would say GameFi will move from 1.0 to 2.0. That's really going to be very, very big and going to potentially bring back the next forum. So that's my understanding. Thanks.
Thank you so much, James. Yes, I totally agree with you that getting back to true ownership and having the possibility of you choosing or adding this gamification or GameFi to the whole user experience is definitely important, and not only brings the interest of native gamers like couple of us, I have to admit. So it also brings the gates or open the gates for people that are interested in doing something different. And while they are, I don't know, losing some of their stress, they are bored or they just want to forget about things, go spend some time playing the game, having some fun, and why not getting rewarded for that. So we've mentioned the metaverse, we've mentioned tokens, we mentioned other concepts. So James, now that I have you still here, what are the key underlying technologies or additional concepts that you think will help bringing gaming to a different level in the Web3 era?
Yeah, I think that's really a decent question. So I think it's basically, we need layer one to be more mature. So that's really the key here. So there's two problems of layer one right now. It's about scalability issues and the integrity issues. Right? So there's really the two key problems of layer ones. So once we got, the basic layer, the protocol can be more scaled. Then maybe AAA games can putting more things on chain, right? So this is really the key here. And of course, we got multi-chain future and cross-chain is the key. So how could we solve the problem? And this is going to be also important to the GameFi industry. So this is really, but I would say that's like more a problem of different protocols trying to solve. But the problem for different GameFi projects on top of that is really, based on the technology right now, based on the technology probably potentially in 1 or 2 years later, how could you kind of find the, kind of things which is match the, the underlying technology, right? You cannot, based on the situation right now, the scalability issue is not entirely solved yet, right? So based on the situation right now, what part of the game are you going to put in on chain, and how would you do that game, right? So that is really the key problem for importance. I would say important things for the project, for the different GameFi project to think about. So we will see, the underlying technology being mature and the gaming being mature at the same time. I will say for the next volume potentially happen probably 2-3 years later, we will see underlying technology and both GameFi industry become mature. Then people can really play in the game very smoothly and without all these kind of troubles. And this will definitely going to be super, super important and super huge in the future. So that's my understanding. Thanks.
Thank you so much, James. Railwo, over to you.
Oh, thanks, Chris. I guess I totally agree with the point of views James just shared. Because in the future, the GameFi has become more and more complicated. Some advanced technology can be combined and how to say the incubator into the GameFi. Like we can say some advanced artificial intelligence technologies like MARL, multi-agent reinforcement learning. It's a kind of deep learning that can make the players can train his role of play and have a co-relationship with the NPCs. So yes, I just set up an example because I have read the white papers of the previous startups. There are many impressive GameFi startups in all the meeting galas and conference like Consensus. So maybe in the future we can pay more attention to the innovation inside the game for the Web3 games, because when the players have the interaction with other players in the game, they will pay more attention to the total design and the structure and all of your point of view of the world instead of only the tokenomics. Because in the past 1 year, we can saw the double token ecosystem has been very popular. So once we got the efficiency token, we got governance token. So for the governance token, you can even you can list it in the exchanges like KuCoin. So, but I think it's only one part of the game. So because when you play the game, you can pay more attention to the inside innovation of the game. So that's my point of view.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Railwo. Railwo, what do you think are the key underlying technologies or concepts will help bring gaming to a different Web3?
Yeah, both James and Railwo covered quite a lot. I think to bring the gaming to a new level in Web3, Web3 is all about decentralization. Like AAA game, AAA plus game, normal games, they have a lot of dependencies on the centralized servers, which is inevitable. It's not something wrong. Things like a game server or other content management system can be more decentralized, that give more sureties and security to the user. I think that's something that we can look at what the future innovation can bring us in like a layer one blockchain protocols. The second thing is that I feel that at the moment play to earn, X to earn still has at the beginning. Like one of the speakers mentioned about a interesting new sustainable economic models. Potentially, these concepts can bring to this to the Web3 gaming experience. That's why in Bit.Country, we set up a platform allow user or developer to create their own experience and also interact with the smart contract. And we want to set up the foundation for future users to be able to innovate in this space where they get all the basic structure for a metaverse. I think future gaming is very important. That will get cryptos and NFTs used in a real context, in a very useful way. So I'm very excited to see that what the future can have. But at the same time, the user experience can be much better. Recently, you've seen some game using like browser-based, but also have a lot of user can play at the same time using the pixel streaming, cloud GPU technology. I think those technology will become cheaper and cheaper, be widely adopted. So that's my comments, Chris.
Thank you so much, Trace. Absolutely. Just to wrap the whole concepts that you guys mentioned, definitely true ownership and giving power back to the users is really going to be important, especially in this platform. And when you have settled the layer one, as James was mentioning earlier, you fix most of the problems. And yet again, getting or deciding what part of the game needs to be on-chain and off-chain, because at the end of the day, not all the experience is just like, okay, I will fight and I will try to kill this monster, and you hit that you want to hit it, and or your time to kill that you want to hit it, and you wait for an on-chain transaction to happen, 12 seconds, just monster to get the hit. So it's definitely kind of a bad user experience at this point. But for those that have the experience or play some games, if you have the opportunity to, okay, I killed this monster, I got a point, and then that point gets recorded on chain, that's a different kind of user experience, user interaction, because at the end of the day, yeah, like the fluency of the game, the fluency of the experience is way better. Let's talk about the strategies. It's always crucial that we focus on building, but building is not just coding and creating the application that will solve the problem you were looking to solve at the beginning. If no users are willing to use the technology, or if the user experience using your technology complicates their lives more than the actual solution. So I would like to hear from Ray Luo first. What strategies are you applying to better cater for Web 3.0 users?
Thanks, Chris. For Web3 users, they are more. First of all, I need to show some data, because according to the latest survey, for one important piece of Web3, the GameFi, has grown with a CAGR 100% in the last year, and at the same time, the traditional game has grown only 10% globally. So that is the point of view that in the Web3 world, that every sectors grow faster than traditional ones. Because, for example, the NFT can grow faster than the traditional art auction market, and the GameFi and the DeFi can, leading the financial innovation in the future. So I don't think our strategy is to keep funding the new opportunity and a better solution, like layer 2, like better public chain in the future. For example, Maybe in the past year, the Solana is one of the most popular chain, but in the future, who knows? Maybe Aptos, maybe Su, maybe other, like venture capitals can invest in. So probably with the new technology, blockchain technology, can bring the Web3 into a new level. And probably our top strategy is keep steady, and probably we can focus on more and more opportunity that can involve more people to get in. For example, GameFi, because GameFi is more and more like a traditional Web2 game because it's convenient to play and because at the very beginning of the Web3 game, so we have to figure out how to transfer the tokens from our CeFi to our wallets inside the game. For example, Steppen, you get to know how to buy the tokens, how to buy the GMT, and how to buy and sell GST. Maybe when you purchase the token and the token's price rise, you need to sell it. Where did you sell it? You need to connect to the CeFi. You need to transfer in. You need to transfer out of the game application. That is without any relationship with the game itself. So probably in the future it will become more convenient. Because the Web3 game, so when we talk about this Web3 strategy, we are talking about more and more people can accept the conception of Web3. So people are enjoying the game, enjoying the product of Web3, until one day they forgot the concept Web3, just like we can say a new generation of internet products. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Fri. James, over to you.
Yeah, I think for the strategy, I mean, I think, to be honest, more important is really to do adoption in the Web2 world, right? So that's really the more important thing, right? So I mean, gaming industry is just simply a much bigger market, right? So right now it's probably like less than 1% of the, GameFi is less than 1% of the size of the gaming. If you can turn probably half of them or whatever, into the Web3 space, and people are doing that right now. It could be super big, and this need a lot of adoption and education, right? At least you need to ask people to, okay, you need to download MetaMask, you need to download Polkadot.js, you need to download whatever wallet in Solana ecosystem, right? You have to do that first, do education, then people can use it, right? Otherwise it's gonna be very hard. So that to be honest is more important thing. For the strategy to the Web3 users, I would say it's more like about kind of making it's kind of related to the question I mentioned before. It's like how much kind of things you want to put in on chain, right? The first is really, you need to have a balance that I'm gonna make this game kind of, a lot of fun and people are willing to play it, and the process needs to be very, very smooth. On the other hand, I just want to put in more things on chain because this is, Web3 about, right? So you owning your own asset, I just want to put more things on chain, and finding a balance there, and it's really I would say a good strategy, probably kind of like to attract more Web3 users to use the platform, to play at the platform without having a lot of trouble, but with more asset on chain, right? So this is really the things I gotta say. The first, we need to do more adoption on the Web2 space, Web2 side. The second is really about Web3. Since we got user experience and finding a balance there is really, really important. I mean, Ray, you probably know better than us because you're building a project, so we're just investors. So yeah, maybe you can talk more about what you think about it.
Over to me now, Chris.
Yes, over to you.
Thanks, James. Thanks, Ray. James, DFG is one of our lead investors, and we also have a lot of friends at the KuCoin. We're working with them on something. We currently, in terms of strategies applying to better catering to the Web3 users in the context of gaming, firstly, I think it's got to be people want to use it. So, however, the experience could be different because you got asset ownership, token transfer. In order to get a wider adoptions, they need to be more straightforward. Not like a DeFi is okay, but to normal user is still pretty scientific. Second thing is that Web3 users and the future of Web3 users to come to Web3, they're interested in incentives. So the fundamental way of marketing is quite different than Web2. So basically, people are looking for opportunities, the opportunity that can get benefits, while having fun, as if they are living the real world. If they spend doing something, or there's opportunities. For example, on Bit.Country, if you launch a Metaverse, you got the land from a treasury. You develop the world, you can subdivide the land, you can trade the land to other members who follows you, or if you're an influencer, have a million of followers. Of course, having an NFT land in your world, that becomes something quite special. And while the land can be further developed, add value, and can trade to other people on the network. Some other strategy around, I think the performance is very important. Performance that, including, accessibility. That's why we decided to build the first version of Bit.Country using web. People don't need to download anything, because once you download, there's a different computer, different environment. People have different problems and take time to, open up, check out your game experience. Whereas on Bit.Country, you can click a Metaverse, a reasonably designed Metaverse, load up in 5 seconds, and you can walk around, do different activities created by the users. Yeah, so in summary, I think opportunity presented on Web3 that will bring more people from Web2 to Web3, and also, of course, they need to have a fun element there with a sustainable economy. So people, it's like in the real world, the supply and demand. If we just have a supply and speculating, things go well in a normal market, probably not, very sustainable. So that's my comments.
Thank you, everybody. Yes, I totally agree with all of your point of views. Definitely, the fact that to onboard Web 2.0 users into Web3, there needs to be kind of a learning process. And if you kind of gamify that learning process and you incentivize them to learn and tell them, okay, if you learn this, you might get, I don't know, your first avatar for free or stuff like that, or your first weapon for free, is definitely going to be an incentive. As Fri was telling, people is joining the GameFi or gaming on Web 3.0 because they are looking for incentives, they are looking for opportunities. So learning is definitely important. And the fact that you can bring communities together just to help you develop a game, develop a new experience inside a new world with tools that in the past it was only possible if you had a big gaming company. Now you can just access the metaverse, have your community coming in, help you build the world for you, however they want it to be, and just gather the experience from them and say what experiences you want to have and live inside the world. You can simply have a developer help you develop those experiences for the users. And it's something that brings the user and gets us back to, yes, I want to play this game because I gave my point of view of how I want to play it. And apart from playing it, I'm being incentivized, I'm getting different rewards, I'm getting new experiences. I play with like-minded people and I'm having fun at the end of the day, because at the end of the day is having fun and having an opening the gate to new opportunities. I have one more question for the three of you. James, I will start with you. In your opinion, what's the best Web3 gaming platform at the moment and why? And if there is not, how will it look like for you?
Yeah, I would say Bit.Country do have a chance to become the best Web3 gaming platform in the future, right? So that's why I'm very bullish on your. And to be honest, I think these days I don't think there's any Web3 gaming platforms, there's not the best, right? So I mean, they are way too early right now. If you check about Metaverse, Sandbox, and Decentralized, if you just use it, then you will see there's a lot of things could be improved. I'm not saying they're not good, but there's long path for them to be improved, right? And also for the gaming platform, the casual game Axie Infinity, right now in the bear market, they lose a lot of users. How would you, find a good momentum again? It's really the question mark for them. And for the and the business model need to be kind of verified again. How could you people, really use the product or whatever just beside play to earn, right? So that's really a problem they need to figure out. And for the AAA game, they haven't launched the platform yet, right? So still, I mean, I understand that if you build a AAA game, it takes years, it takes a lot of money, and you need a decent team to build that, right? It definitely takes more than that. So maybe for the next Warren, we will see some decent AAA game came out, and people are really going to play. I would say right now we are at very early stage for the gaming platform. But as far as I know, right now there's tons of decent people come out from Tencent, from Ubisoft, from all these come from right now, from all these kind of really big Web 2.0 gaming platform, and came out really senior and decent people came out to do the Web3 gaming project. So I'm actually think with more decent people join the project or founding the new project, we will see more quality project will be built, and we'll see a lot of improvement by the current project right now. So I'm still very, very bullish on the Web3 gaming platform, but we are just not there yet. So it's way too early, and this really have great potential to grow super big in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Definitely, we need to pay attention on the long term, because people, I don't want to say we got spoiled by the 10x, 100x, and 1000x, like from one day to the other. People need to understand that you're investing in a technology that, yes, it takes time to develop, and the experience that happened over the years is going to be way different than the experience that you have now. So yeah, thank you so much. Ray, Lou, over to you.
Well, thanks, Chris. I think it's better than discussing what is the best of the GameFi platform. We can see the key drivers of the GameFi in the future. Probably we can follow the leading investors like James, and leading founders like Ray Lu. We can find more and more leading GameFi platforms, and we can look back to the history. We can see the key drivers of the GameFi growth. And firstly, many institutions are recently investing heavily in this area, in the GameFi companies. So we say the blockchain-based online games receive maybe over $1 billion in funding in the very first months of 2022. And for comparison, for the entire 2021, the sector saw investments worth $4 billion. And that is quite important that the investors can dig out the better platforms. And secondly, and I think crypto, including crypto games itself, it's poised for explosive growth in terms of users. We can say the game development timeline for crypto games get faster and faster. Game in the future, the competition of the best GameFi platform is a competition of the game, how to maintain the users, and probably it can provide a better user friendly the user friendly mechanism, and probably they can develop and help the GameFi to develop a better tokenomics in the future, just like what we do for KuCoin. We can provide a very favorable trading fees to attract institutions and the users to trade on our platform. So that is the same for the GameFi platforms. Because in the future, that people can easily transferred from one platform to another, because once the new platform can provide them with the better gaming experience. It's not like previously people quite loyalty to one game or several game or one game platform. So maybe in the future the convert can happen quicker and quicker, and it's more easy for the gaming players to choose the ones they are really interested in and willing to pay and their money and time on it. So yes, we're quite looking forward to the final result, maybe in the future, maybe 2 or 3 years, or in the other time periods in the near future. Yeah, Chris.
Thank you so much, Ray. Ray Lu, what's, in your opinion, what's the best Web 3.0 gaming platform at the moment, and why?
Well, there are different ways to look at it. First, from user experience or from their market cap. It's very hard to distinguish which one is the best. I think there are a couple of projects pioneering this space. From Decentraland to Axie to Sandbox. They started an era of Metaverse or play to earn games. What I envisage is the future, the best gaming platform will have a very sophisticated ecosystem that supply demand is met. That means other people's work can be needed by other players. So this way, that it just like it's just like like a marketplace. People want to trade with each other because things are useful. Otherwise, people, they have no liquidities on the items. I wouldn't consider it as good games. You can use the model like a GDP, like for example, transactions, on a daily basis to see how people want those things because they are useful. So the utilities of the items, NFTs within the game, are highly useful. I think that's something that the future games should have. Where we do is that we don't create a utility ourselves. We want the user to use their own NFT and adding value to it, either putting into their own metaverse or creating some functions, use the code to empower those NFTs. That's aligned, also with our vision as well. Recently, I've seen a massive multiplayer game called The Other Side, using pixel streaming that take the user experience and the multiplayer server to the next level. However, the technology behind is very expensive. That means that potentially cost the user to play. But I want to see that the cost, like I mentioned earlier, the technology cost can be lower and lower in the future, so that user will have a much bigger world in a very seamless user experience and can interact with each other, accomplish missions, acquire some kind of items, and the items have some other utilities for other powers or useful features. So in general, I would say the utilities of the token and the NFTs have become really crucial. Of course, nothing will work without a good user experience and also the game design. But our focus is providing the platform and the basic structure for people creating mini games. There will be lots of different worlds, and people can do things between different worlds and do things with different lands and NFTs. So yeah, that's great.
Thank you so much, Ray. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with all of your point of views, because definitely we need, or as we were mentioning, Web3 will change how the gaming experience will happen. You will have true ownership if at the end of the day you won an item or acquired an item in this game, and then a new game comes, you can bring that asset to the new game and you can still use it with the same functionalities. So gives you back, gives power to the user to manage and administrate their items. On Web2, you acquire an item, the developer or the company developed a new game, and that item, it was used for that game. So you lost everything, all your efforts, all your time, and everything. You kind of lost it. On Web3, you can bring your assets. You can even trade your assets. Like, okay, I no longer want to play this game. I want to bring to play this other one. I can trade these assets so I can acquire the assets required to play this brand new game. So I think we are running out of time. So thank you so much, James. Thank you so much to both Rays for sharing your thoughts and your point of view. I think the four of us, and hopefully everybody who's tuned in, also believe that Web3 is definitely changing and will continue to change the game ecosystem by giving true ownership to the gamers, expanding how games and or gamification processes can potentially change paradigms, improving the gaming experience and the whole ecosystem in general. So it can potentially impact our everyday lives. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Keep enjoying, learning, and disrupting. As I personally believe, we are just scratching the surface and all the benefits that Web3 will bring to the gaming space, the metaverse, and almost every industry willing to adopt the technology. Over to you, Leo.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, guys. Rilo, and James and Chris. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your day if you still have a few hours ahead. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks. Bye.
See you, James. See you, Ray.
Thank you.
See you.
See you, Leo. Thanks, Mercy.
Recording stopped.